let's try to focus on a design problem. Okay.
Okay.
So consider you want to design an online game. Okay.
Okay.
Call it. You have heard of tic tac toe. You would have played maybe.
Yeah, I played. Yeah.
Or sometimes people call it OX also.
Yes, yes.
Generally OX kind of thing, right? So we want to build a tic tac design and tic tac toe online game with and cross and support. Okay.
Okay.
Generally, it's 3x3, but we want to build it for an cross n. So it would be an online gaming system, okay, and multiple. So in a single game, multiple players would be able to play, but there would be multiple number of games running at a time also. And apart from that, you need to design it as in an MVP manner. So it's just a minimum viable product. It's a first launch. You can just think it like that way. Okay. So
Okay.
you are asked to design a tic-tac-toe online game MVP. So yeah. So here, what I would require from your side is think first in the high-level perspective. Ki, okay, what sort of data? So first of all, you need to think in the functional requirement point of view, then the non-functional requirement point of view. How many servers? What should be the load? What would be the RPM? How much your database would need for to store the data? And then we'll need to go into the low-level details. Low-level details could be like what sort of APIs you would have and all that. Okay,
Yeah, I got it.
got it, na? Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So first we'll come up with the functional requirements and non-functional requirements.
Hmm.
So in the functional requirements, yeah. Um, okay. Let's. First is like yeah. Two players will get two player. Only two players will able to perform will able to do the game, right. So yeah, if gridful,
Hmm.
uh, no one, if gridful means no one wins, like draw.
No, it could be like even before the grid is full, we sometimes already know, okay, right? You have reached a non-deterministic state, correct? Even before all the elements have been filled, correct? Sometimes that happens, right?
Yes, yeah, it happens, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Basically system should able to identify every time, check for draw, and check for who wins.
Okay.
So yeah, this is the somewhat of functional requirements. And
What
so
else? What else do you think? So this is just a game requirement. What all your entire system should have? What else in an online gaming system? What do you think a gaming system should have? You would have played some online games also, right? Maybe some chess or something.
yeah, systems means like complete talking about UI point of view or DB point of view, like
It's a high level point of view, like the gaming system, how actually what all functionalities it supports, right? That's why we call it functional requirement, right? So your system, what does it support on a functional level? Your game. So this is a game requirement. Game should have two players, and you will check who wins and who draw if it is drawn at a particular point of time. That's true. What else?
yeah, maybe timer we can keep. uh,
Okay.
yeah, and so we should, so to play the players should able to, but these are not, I think. Yeah, basically players should be able to register with the systems. That is also considered as functional requirement.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, players.
What do you mean by registering with the system? A
Yeah,
login, a user history, something like that.
yeah.
Okay. What else?
able to register.
Uh,
Yeah, and play.
Take your time. No need to hurry. Just relax. Take your time.
Okay. Yeah, and yeah, players should able to register.
You would have played a chess game, so sometimes it like so when you are going to within that system, right? How do you actually play a game? Is it so if it is an online game, how do you actually play it? You go to the game. Is it automatically game comes into picture? You have to create a game, or you do you play at random? How is it that happened? Right? What if
Choose a
user has
random
a
players. You say.
sorry?
Choose it like whenever we want to play the game, right? We want to identify the another player randomly who is on online, right?
Okay. What else apart from that? Okay, that could be one way of doing it. What else? What if I want to play with my particular friend only? I have a friend who is also online, I am also online, and I want to only play with him. How would you do that?
If yeah, if player yeah before that player should be in a system, right?
Uh,
We'll check like player is an online or not. If it is not online, we send the notification like your friend is asking to play, like come to online, like to play a game.
okay, both are online. How would you assign them a game? First of all, that's what I'm saying. So have you played any kind of online game sometime? Never. Chess
Online
maybe.
chess actually I used to play, but that is a random assignment. Like yeah, but yeah, okay.
Maybe
I
some
will
kind
think
of a game code. One player can actually create a game room and then have a code and
invite it to others. Yeah,
yes, by share that would work,
yeah, that will work. Yeah,
right? So how do you assign a game? You have two ways: a random or a game token or
game
a
token.
game room ID, basically something like that. Correct?
Yes.
What else?
Um, what else? Law like we can keep track the like player moves like history, like we can
Okay, right, right. That makes sense. Correct, correct. Yes.
player
What
moves.
about previous games which I played? If I want to revisit those,
Yeah, okay, revisit those means it will be like a back catalog, right? It will not the real time. And
no,
basically,
not yeah, exactly, correct, correct. That won't be real time, but it's part of your system, right?
yeah, it's like a history. Like my orders is there, right? In like in normal e-commerce. Likewise, we can see our history, like user history.
Correct, correct, correct. So all what all games he has played. Okay.
Yeah, everything like yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so two players are there. Check control. Okay. User history and maybe if we want like we can make a like top players in the particular day kind of thing, but that is like over functional record. Like daily active user, like basically
Mm-hmm.
something related to that one, like
Okay, active users and all. Okay.
yeah,
Okay, this looks fine. This looks fine. Let's move on from the functional requirement. Yeah.
yeah. So non-functional requirements is like yeah, so, system should like low latency. So basically, like after the movement, right? So basically, they shouldn't feel any lag, right? So another person should quickly do the move, like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that is on low latency.
Okay.
Um, mm, so basically, you mean to say available all low latency, like yeah, maybe high, like highly available system, right? So games should be available like highly available system. Okay. And basically like any assumptions like how many members at a time can be play with our online game, like
So So you think that it is an MVP system? I told you. You know what is MVPs, right?
Yeah, MBA is the minimum viable product you're saying, right?
Minimum, yeah, minimum viable product. That is your initial launch. So it is an initial launch. Then you can do some random guesswork. Okay, it in an initial not launch, what should be the traffic, and how many games do you think could be played at a single at the same time? What do you think the assumption could be at an initial launch? So this is very first product. It is an initial launch. What would it be?
Yeah, maybe like maybe like but yeah, 100 requests per second. You're saying something like.
How did you arrive at a request per second directly?
No, those things will, yeah, we will tackle like once we are design the systems, right? Like
Uh,
yeah,
So
because
it is an MVP. You are launching it. Okay. So the first point being ki how many games would be played at the same time. Correct.
yeah, how many games? Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the number of games should be in an MVP? Maybe some thousand games.
Okay, 1,000 games. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now your request per minute would be now. See, this is an online game.
Yes, yes, yeah.
How do you think your clients would connect? First of all, what would it be? A REST based system or something else?
Actually, to query the game is rest based. Once two players were connected, everything happens through like WebSockets.
Okay. Correct. Correct. Exactly. Exactly. So how do you decide upon the number of servers for this? So I have told you ki 100 games must be running at a given point of time, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
So let's say 1,000 games, okay?
Yeah, 1,000
So
games.
can you think ki how many servers would you require on your backend system?
Yeah, maybe. Uh,
Maybe on the base of, so a server has some constraint, right? A Java backend server.
yes, yes.
Maybe number of
Maybe cannot
connections
handle
to the
200
core.
requests per second. If cannot handle 200,
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
at a
200
time.
requests per second or 200 connections basically.
Yeah, 200 connections. So
Maximum.
we
Okay.
can, yeah, depending on the load, we can auto scale. Like initially, we can maintain like for 1,000. If 1,000 is the default one, we can maintain like,
Yeah.
let's say like like five 200, yeah, 5 servers.
So this is 5 servers, 1,000 games means how many connections? One game has how many players?
Of 400 players, right?
Sorry, 1,000 games, 400 players.
No, one. I'm saying one game, like basically one server. I'm saying. Okay. For
Ah,
1,000 games, we require 2,000 players, right?
yes.
Yeah,
Each
because
player would have one connection.
yeah, each,
Apart from that, there would be some other players who are not playing the game, but
but
just
they're
some extra
online.
bandwidth for creating a game, logging in, viewing, and all
Yeah,
that,
but
right?
yeah, see, yeah, because we are doing, we are actually a microservice, right?
Yes,
So the
yes.
creation login part will be taken care by different service, right?
Okay, okay,
Once two entities chooses to play the game,
okay,
they will separate microservice. Where basically
okay.
that is actual access WebSocket to handle the
Okay.
continuous like
Okay.
seamless.
Okay. For the WebSocket part, so how many servers would you require? How many nodes or servers for that?
Okay, I think for 400 games, suppose like yeah, for 2,000 players, right? For 2,000 players, let's say like each server at most handle like 200, right? Uh,
Okay.
so 10, I think 10, 10 servers will require like, so each server will handle the 100 games. So with the with 200 connections, like
Right. 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 Right.
um, like yeah. Next thing is like so
Hmm.
system. So yeah, I think what will happen. No, I should answer like basically like if person accidentally closes the window, right? So
Right.
if you
Right.
want to if you want to try again, I think the socket will be broken, right? But uh, so that part we can cancel the game, right?
Yes. 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 We can cancel the game in that case. Correct.
Okay, okay, got it. Um, yeah, I think apart from non-functional, yeah, these are.
Okay.
Um, is anything I'm missing like a non-functional requirement like latency high available scaling? Mm, I think these. I think we'll talk about DB also, or DB will be doing LLD like while designing entities,
Yeah.
right?
DB we can yeah, now we can start with the DB part actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So consider your yeah. Let's move into at least the high level overview of how many services, how many structures would you require. Instead of DB, let's first focus on that. Then we'll move to DB. Okay. So
Okay.
you mentioned na ki there would be different services needed. So
Rest APIs.
what all type of services do you think we would require before
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First is like one is like user service,
Okay.
which will handle the user login logout. Basically, user state management, like basically user login logout and everything. User basically registration, user login, and user updation, everything.
Okay.
So second
Okay.
service is like game service,
Okay.
which will basically keep track um, like whenever like if two entities comes to the game, right? So that two entities basically talk to the game service to for the game like
Right. Right.
uh, and third one is like
So game is only game. So apart from that, there would be something else also, right? What about move history? So game service, are you only concerned about what? The actual game being played, but there are some other
yeah
details also related to a game, right? Game history,
yeah
game move, what all, what about those kind of things? So do you need a, separate service altogether or just
yeah it's yeah. So if we are concerning about like lightweight, right, we can maintain because if we maintain the game history also in the game service means then maybe queries will be come to the game service, right? Then whatever
so?
initial
So
assumption of
you
100
so
connections will be.
maybe you can have different deployments, but from code's perspective, they are part of the same ecosystem, right? Because they would have same database primarily, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Maybe your game service can have, in deployment, you could have different variants. One would be only for your WebSocket part, other could be for your REST part.
Rest part,
Would that
okay.
make sense? Would that help?
Yes, yeah.
Because games entire game service should be part of game same
Game,
ecosystem.
yeah,
If you
same
make
TV.
a different microservice, it would have a separate database. Then you, but it should be part of the same ecosystem, right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I think this is under the game history only. Like,
Okay, okay,
mm,
okay. Yeah. Let's. Anything else apart from this?
I think it is fine. These three are fine. Like, mm, yeah, no, I think user history like game history like. Mm, yeah, maybe we can have the front. We can have some service called gateway service.
Okay, okay,
Basically helps to route it like which to user service or game service depending
okay,
on the user
okay.
query like yeah.
So you would have a gateway. So is it a service or is it just a proxy or what is
Yeah,
it?
basically it's a cloud gate like it's like reverse proxy like to handle
Okay,
the to route the whatever the request
okay,
coming to right to which service you need to
okay,
route like yeah.
okay, okay. ठीक है, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, next is like deep.
So for the high level design, if you want to share your screen and if you want to draw how a design would look like, that would be good as well.
Okay,
You can
sure.
just share any kind of whiteboard, online whiteboard or draw.io, whatever you're comfortable with. Any tool would do.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Or even a free draw diagram would also be okay.
Yeah, you are able to see my screen, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Let's say we have front end
Okay,
who's actually like user specific.
okay,
Yeah, and we have like a gateway.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have like user service,
Okay.
and we have like user DB,
Okay.
and we have game service.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have game DB. Like,
Okay.
so depending upon the user request, this gateway will route it to user service, or it will route it to the game service. Like, uh,
Okay. Okay. But in game service, so when two users are playing, right, playing the game,
yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
when they are connected via WebSocket, you want to ensure that they are right, those are coming to the same service,
Yeah,
correct?
same, yeah, same service. Yeah,
Same instance or same service. How would you handle that? So your game service would have multiple instances running, correct?
yeah. I think yeah. Actually, we can maintain the something called sticky session, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah. One second. That sticky session, like, let's say. Okay, I think actually, like, yeah.
Hmm?
So yeah, from the front end point of view, uh, yeah, this is a basically load balancer, right? The gateway also
Right.
acts as load balancer, right?
Yes, yes,
Uh, so when we got the request, right? Uh,
right,
so this should be sticky session, like when two people playing the game. Whenever the particular person is sending the request, right, it should be going through the same service itself.
correct, correct. So how would you maintain your stickiness?
Either at the load balancer, either the load balancer
No,
point.
no, understand, I understand. But stickiness would only be maintained by something in your request, right?
Yeah, basically ID or like server name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
basically
game,
server has
yeah.
instance name or instance ID. Some.
Or maybe game ID, you started with the game itself, right?
Yeah, yeah, maybe game
You
ID
already
also.
have a unique game ID, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, do you know how would you actually propagate it to the same server using game ID via load balancer? Can you do that?
yeah. For each service, for each instance, we can maintain the list of game IDs.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But what if you have new games, getting created and created? How would you manage that?
okay, new games. Okay. Yeah, basically for new games, we don't have any game ID. Yeah, generally we will route it to the any particular instance. If
Right.
if user query for the to the play game. So once the
Yes.
game IDs will return to the user, right? The game ID will logged at the instance level, like
Yes.
to the particular. Yeah, maybe we can maintain a hash map, like
Okay.
for the
Okay.
particular game ID, what is the service we need to contact. So
Okay.
the load balancer will route it to that particular service. Yeah.
Uh, do you store some kind of a hash map at a load balancer? Have you seen something like this?
No, but yeah.
Okay, let's move it. Let's move it. You can do it. So there are different ways how to how actually routing is done at a load balancer level. But okay,
Okay.
move it. Yeah, I understood. I understood what you're trying to say.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah. So I think, yeah, this is like a talk to this DB alone, and this is will talk to this DB. And as you
Hmm.
said, like some depending some will handle the WebSocket, and some will handle some instances will handle the API calls, right?
Right.
So depending upon the, if it is not related to the game ID, like if the request
Hmm.
doesn't contain any game ID, right, those will be routed to the API calls.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, basically to get the game history, all these things, score everything. uh I think this is enough, right? Or like,
Yeah, there should be enough. There should be enough. Let's move to the database schema related part. Yeah.
yeah. So first thing is like, okay, yeah, yeah, okay. So first thing is like user service, right? Which has like a
Hmm.
basic user details like
Uh, let's skip user service. I understand what you would have. You would have some users, some user related info, user ID, blah blah blah.
yeah, yeah.
Let's
Next is like
focus more on the game aspect of things.
yeah. First is like yeah. First we'll store the uh, okay game table something table name is let's assume game which has the of course game ID
Hmm.
and um, okay this one is okay this is game ID and this is mm, okay yeah we have the game ID and we should require players right so players basically users right and that should be different I think table I think where we have the mapping of game ID comma user ID
Okay,
so
okay.
yeah that is like normalization okay
So game ID, user ID. So your users, you have a different user service altogether.
yeah this is
So
this
how would
is
you handle it in this?
no you're saying we have different user service altogether this table will not be will not be correlated with this table you're saying right
Hmm?
no your query is like okay this is game ID no exactly what you're saying like we have altogether different
What I meant was you said ki you have a different user service and different game service. So user service has its own database, game service has its own database. How can you even do a join? These are two databases, independent databases altogether.
yeah no join yeah when some user querying the when user wants to create a game right play the game right so
Uh,
where we have user ID right
hmm.
that user ID is associated with the game ID will associate with the particular game ID right we will store those two things like
Okay, okay. You're saying you duplicate the data.
yeah yeah
Did
no
you, did you
how it no duplication means like
so what see your user table is part of your user database,
yes yeah
correct?
yeah
Your game table is part of your game database, your game service database,
yes
correct? How do you have a user ID in your game database? That's what I'm saying. How did you get that? So do you need to have some mapping of user ID?
mapping of user ID no so yeah basically we will have the a through through API calls we have the user ID as parameters right so because the request which is getting to the game is like authenticated request like which we won't get the anonymous request right
Okay, okay, go ahead, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
yeah so we have game ID comma like user ID uh
Yeah, yeah.
yeah and also like yeah so yeah but basically game should contains the game ID user ID and who like basically who wins right
Hmm.
okay these everything is like user history I think
Hmm. Exactly. Got the problem now?
yeah yeah okay user ID Yeah, I think we can we can user ID.
Consider you can store one more relationship related to user in your database also. Consider like that.
Yeah, yeah, actually we can yeah we can duplicate. I was thinking like yeah, because generally like
You can have your own user ID in your gaming system, and you can have an external user ID mapped, right? Something like that.
okay, external user ID.
Or if what if user service is part of your same ecosystem, then you can just use the same table also. Consider you can use the user table. Okay, that's your leeway. One leeway given in this design. Ideally, we won't do it, but okay, for the timing, consider we are doing this.
Okay.
Okay, let's move ahead. Then how would you do it?
Okay. So yeah, if that is the case, like we have like so we have the game ID and we have user ID, and also we have like uh, so yeah, like in this case we have only tic tac toe, right? So
Hmm.
in generally for a particular game we have game we have yeah yeah actually many games are basically will be will be stored will be stored in an as rows, right? But here we're specifically dealing with the tic tac toe.
Hmm.
So um, so game table should has like one primary key that should that is nothing but game ID. But okay,
What
game.
else? What else? What else? You have your game ID, you have your user ID. What else apart from that?
One second.
How would you store your move?
Yeah,
How
those
would
will be, yeah, those will be stored in the yeah, I'm thinking that one only. Actually, those will be stored in the moves table, something related to thing.
correct, correct. You would have definitely have different table itself. Yes.
Yeah, in that moves table, it has the
What else? That's it for game. You don't need anything else in the game,
yeah, that one has actually game is ultimately will say like who wins, right?
right?
Uh,
Not necessarily wins. It could be a win. It could be a draw. Player one or player two. So you have just one game ID and one user ID. How many players are playing the game here?
two players, yeah.
Then
Yeah, we can maintain like okay, yeah. Instead of yeah, this yeah, instead of player ID, right? We can user ID, right? We can maintain the player one and player two.
okay.
Um,
Also, take care of how what your keys would be. What is an index? What if there is a primary key or a foreign key?
yeah,
Just make note of them as well.
yeah. This is the primary key. No, no, no. Okay. This is the game ID and let's see. Game ID and Kumar. No, but this is also wrong. Like this, we shouldn't have like this. Like Okay, which if we so this is like one column and this is one column and this is one column, right?
Okay.
So we have three columns. Um okay, yeah, and also uh, game status.
Okay.
Yeah, and game status, and we have one more thing. Game basically, yeah, actually it should have the game result. But this result is basically will have the okay. Here's game one, player one, okay, player wins. Okay, actually this is fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, we have third table called.
What about who has created? So, what about when your game started, when your game end? Don't you need that kind of information for historical data? Who is the winner? How do you identify a winner from this game with
Yeah,
this table?
yeah, winner. I'm saying separate table like uh,
Okay.
yeah, something like that to game track something uh, which has game ID and also um,
So, for your game track, what would be your primary key?
yeah. No, there is no. Actually, there is one auto increment will be there. There is no specific primary key.
Okay, so you need to have at least one field with an ID, right?
Yeah, that
If it is
yeah
auto
that
increment ID, it should be there, na?
yeah that one has.
Anyways, all a primary key, na? There
Anyway,
must be. You said ki there won't be a primary key. How would that be
no.
possible?
Basically, I'm saying auto increment is a primary key.
Uh,
We don't have specific. Yeah, basically, we can game track ID like ID.
right. Uh,
Yeah, player wins. This also we have like
do you call it player wins or call it a winner ID instead of
yeah
what is a player wins?
winner ID is fine. Good. Okay. Yeah, basically, this will only enable whenever any person wins, right?
Hmm.
If no one will, this will not be stored. Like here,
Okay.
it won't be
Okay.
an entry. Like if it is drawn.
Okay. Okay. And now, what about your moves? How are you handling your
Yeah,
move
that moves
in
is
the
like
game?
moves table, which has like game ID, which has like yeah player ID G1. Okay, move.
Okay.
So this is like auto increment and primary key. Game ID is like yeah, yeah, foreign key. Primary key we have like yeah basically move here. So move here basically so store right. Like
Yes. Yes.
0 0 or something like that.
Yeah. So if it is an n cross n, so
Yeah.
that was the question, right? Initially, we have mentioned it is an n cross n table. So how would you actually denote a move? So move ID, game ID, player ID, move.
Yeah.
Right. Now, yeah.
Yeah. I think we can uncross n is nothing but and yeah, yeah, basically n square, right? So let's say it is 3 cross 3.
Hmm.
So 1 second 0 1 2 0 1 2. So 0 0 is basically is like first location like and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, right? So if it so depending upon the depending upon the coordinate which you want, we can directly straight away store the value, either 1 2 3 4 5 or some like raw value, or else in chess we will store like c5 or k6, right? No,
Uh,
some kind of some kind of so chess has 8 cross 8. What was that meant?
you have n cross n. So 0001, would that be okay?
0001.
That's an example I'm just saying. So a 2D array can have some values, right? Index
Yeah,
based. Can
yeah,
you
I'm saying,
store?
yeah, 0 0. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
so single 0 0 is fine, right? Like,
The coordinate can be there, na? Coordinate you can string, you can directly store the coordinate in the table, right? What's the problem?
yeah. No,
It
I'm
could be a
saying
character
while
value with a coordinate, right? That's it. Your system would automatically identify on the basis of your game. So your game should also have your n value also, correct?
yeah, like this you're saying, right?
Ah.
So suppose if it is coordinate 1 or 0 1. Okay, yeah, 0 0.
So what should it be? It should be move or it should be coordinate? What should be the column name,
Okay, coordinate. Yeah, okay. We can store coordinate x and coordinate y.
right? You need to have multiple. Okay.
Yeah,
If you
multiple
want
is
to
fine.
make
Like,
it numeral, then you can have it in two ways also. Okay, that's fine. What about the size of your board actually, your game board?
um, size.
How would I know ki it's a 3 cross 3 matrix or a 4 cross 4 or 5 cross 5? How do you know that?
Yeah, that should be in game table, like who has created.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, game size or game something game. Yeah, we can make any name like game capacity something like that. Game size. Okay, game has game size. No idea. Game ID player. Okay.
Game size. Is it size of the game or what is it? What should be a proper name for this?
Yeah, that was I was thinking like game. Uh,
So you have a board inside the
board.
game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, board. Board size. No, size is also. Yeah, we can maintain like.
Huh, that makes sense. Game board size, correct. Okay.
So
So
yeah.
you have your move ID, game ID in your moves, then you have your player ID, and then you have your coordinate. What about the move? It's so one more thing now. So for each player is assigned a particular type of value, right?
Yeah, that should be stored in the yeah, that is here, right? So player ID, I think somewhere I stored, right? Player ID,
No,
yeah, here, yeah. Player ID is basically this. Okay, tell me like what?
player A can play only O, player B can play only X. How do you denote that? How would you know who played what? So you
Yeah.
said the player has played, but what has he played? How do I know that?
Yes, yes. That's okay. We can maintain, but yeah, we can maintain like player symbol,
Okay.
player one symbol, player two symbol. But
Uh,
yeah, actually we can have one more table, uh, which is which is basically um I think names are not okay. Game Okay, this is basically game creation table. This,
Uh, do you call it game creation
yeah,
or?
yeah, yeah. 1 second, I'll change everything.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, game creation will have game ID, um, player ID. Oh, shoot.
Okay, super.
Okay.
Should be fine now. Kumar, we are actually running out of time also.
No, this
So,
will. These things are not. Yeah, these things are not required.
right, I understood, understood. You're saying you'll remove, uh,
Yeah,
and what
these
about
things.
your gameplay ID? You need to put
Yeah,
your gameplay ID somewhere.
gameplay. No, no. This is
So you
like.
have your game and you have a gameplay. Acha. Okay.
Yeah, actually, game ID. It has. Assume it has one ID is an auto increment.
Okay.
This is like AK, and this game is only for creation. What is the game ID, and also game board says game status, game start time, and time. But
Okay.
gameplay basically has the game
Okay.
ID,
Okay.
player ID.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
because column we can't make number of players as a columns, right? That's why this contains only single column and different rows like player one and player two, different rows, player symbol also.
Okay. Okay. Uh, should be fine. Should make sense. So I think we are also running out of time. So let's wrap this up. So I think I am pretty much done from my side.
I hope you got some information from the video, uh, and I will consistently upload new videos, which can be either machine coding rounds or low level designing rounds or system designing rounds or live interviews also. Also, I will post the important questions on Java related questions, which I got in many interviews. So if you like the videos, please subscribe and thumbs up, and please press the bell icon so that you can get the notification, and you can watch those videos also, and please share it to your friends also. And yeah, thank you. We'll meet soon in the next video.